Good day, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we will talk about upsampling images in pdfToolbox, creating higher resolution images within your PDF. Now, the first question you have to ask yourself here is, why would you want to do that? Well, certain printers, certain standards may require a minimum resolution for all the images inside your PDF. And some images you have in your files might just not be available in a high enough quality to comply to these wishes or standards. Let's say you're using old photographs or older digital files that you cannot reproduce or you cannot find an original form. Then it might be from the internet, and it might be 72 or 96 ppi, while your printer is asking you for at least 150 or more. This would be one of the places where you might want to use upsampling. The important thing to remember here, though, is that there will be no visual improvement in your file. So while upsampling will increase the pixel resolution of your image, it will not be visually better. It might in some cases even be worse. And we will see that in the demonstration. Now, if you had a look inside pdfToolbox, and maybe at some point you searched for this kind of functionality, you will notice that there isn't an upsample fixup. There are, however, downsample fixups. These downsample fixups can actually upsample as well, because what they really do is they resample your image, and it's called downsampling, but actually it's resampling, which means upsampling and downsampling are basically both versions of resampling. So if we use these fixups and we set the wanted resolution higher than the one it's currently at, then you can actually upsample your image. Now, setting it up, like I said, you set your target resolution. So let's say that is 250 ppi. You exclude images with a very bad resolution, because trying to upsample an image with like 50 pixels per inch will not give you any kind of decent result. So we'll exclude these and call them, lost causes. And then we will exclude images with good resolutions, because you might have images in your files with, let's say, 300 ppi. We do not want to downsample these to 250. We want to keep them at 300. So we'll exclude these as well. Excluding the ones with bad resolutions is easy, because you can just use the 4 images above X ppi within the fixup to do that. Excluding images with good resolutions, you have to do an extra step for that. You can use the apply to inside the fixup and add a check for resolution that says less than the resolutions you want to exclude. Now we will have a quick look inside pdfToolbox and reproduce this. So I have pdfToolbox 10 here. Let me open the profiles, and I will open a test file as well. So I have this file, which obviously contains a few penguins. I have 2 images in this file. I have a 300 pixels per inch penguin and a 155 pixels per inch penguin. We have some tools that we can use to verify what I'm saying. We have the object inspector in pdfToolbox. This is underneath the view tab at the bottom of the visualizers. We have the object inspector. You can see it's here. Now, if I hover over files, you will see it changing. If I click some object, it will freeze, so you can move around and select the object you want to take a closer look at if there are multiple on top of each other. So you can see I selected the 155 image, and the resolution for this image is 154 by 154 ppi. If I select the high resolution image, then you will see it's 300 ppi. Now I pre-made this profile, but we can actually create it from scratch as well. You can see I added 2 fixups inside the profile for upsampling color images and grayscale images, because these are separate fixups. If we take a closer look inside the color images, this is just the simple downsample color images fixup. Then we have it set to downsample to 250 ppi for images above 150 ppi. So any image that is higher than 150 will be downsampled between codes to 250 ppi. Now, we're doing this because we don't want any image lower quality than 150 to be upsampled, because that just will be ugly. And then we have the apply to here at the bottom, set to image resolution less than 250 ppi. This is just a check. So if we have a look at that, this is just the check for image resolution that is set to less than 250 ppi. Another important thing here, you can see this bottom checkbox, apply recompression even if images are not downsampled. This is very important because these images that we're aiming for will not be downsampled. So you have to have this checked, otherwise the fixup will just not do anything. So I have the one for grayscale is exactly the same. So if I go into that one, you will see the same thing. It's set to 250 for images above 150 with same check, apply only to object identified by a check, image resolution less than 250. Now, if I execute this, analyze and fix, I can call this tests 150. Okay, you can see one object has been upsampled. That will be the image that I wanted to upsample, I assume. Let's have a look. We can hover over the file. And now you can see the bottom image is actually a resolution of 250 by 250, while the top image was not changed because we excluded images with a high enough resolution. So this one retains the 300 by 300 ppi. The bottom one, 250, and this one before was 150. So the fixup works the way you would expect. However, if I zoom in high enough, you will see the, I should take this away for a second. This, I believe, is the high res image, and this is the low res image. And you can see this isn't actually as good as the high res image. This is way clearer. Now let's make it a little bit more clear, because I have this 150 to 300. It's not actually very visible. I made a second file. Is that the right one? No, this is the right one. So I made a file with a 50 ppi penguin in it. And you can see with this one, the quality is clearly horrible. It's very, very pixelated, especially compared to the top one. You can even see it when zoomed out that the difference is huge. If I go back to the object inspector underneath the view tab, and we hover over this image, you can see on the right, it says 50 by 49, and the top one says 300 by 300. This is the same image as before. So this one is indeed a very low resolution. Now, if I were to use, let's put this aside again. If I were to use the same fixup I was using earlier, and I say analyze and fix, and I call this test 50, you can see no problems are found. Nothing has been changed. You can see this is still the same pixelated image it was before. And if I open the object inspector again, I close it down because if it's open and you do stuff, sometimes it causes the program to act up. So I close it down in between actions. You can see this one is still 50 because we excluded the low resolution images using inside the fixup the 4 images above 150 over here. This excludes images underneath 150. That is also the reason my other penguin was 155 and not 150, so it would be above this threshold. Now, some of you may already have seen it. I have a second fixup here that I call if above 25. So the only difference here is that I have this for images above set to 25. The rest is exactly the same. It still says 250, and it still uses this check image resolution less than 250 pixels per inch, and it still has this check mark checked. The only difference is that it's set for a lower threshold, just so we can have a look at what happens to this 50 ppi file when we force it to be resampled -2 to 250. Maybe you saw it smoothen out during processing. I saw it a little bit. I'll open the original next to it. We'll zoom in on that, and we'll zoom in on this one. Oh, that's not very helpful, is it? Okay, so you can see this one is the original. You can see the lines of all the pixels are very sharp. You can see in the processed one that the lines became very blurry. This does not, however, improve the image quality or the image sharpness. It just makes the image in totality blurrier than it was. So that's what will happen if you process 2 low quality files this way. So that's upsampling images. It works. It can be used to get beyond these pesky rules that you have to have your images above a certain threshold, but it will not make them look prettier, which is an important thing to remember.